Today we're going to talk about a really horrible disease that any cat can get. It's called Panleukopenia. Panleuc, as we cut it down to in the rescue world and in the veterinary world, we call it Panleuc instead of Panleukopenia. Panleuc is essentially extremely similar to a dog's parvovirus. And it is somewhat preventable, but when you get your cat its annual shot, and we call that the FVRCP, that shot, that FVRCP shot, is helping your cat to be able to fight off Panleuc. Is it a total preventative? No. Is your flu shot, when you get it, going to prevent you from getting the flu? No. But it's going to help your body fight it if you get it. And hopefully, if your immune system is high enough and the flu comes along and you've got that in there, you could potentially bypass it, or you won't get it as severely. That's the goal of a vaccination. Most people get mad when they, some people get mad and say, I just had my dog there and it went to the kennel and I got a Bordetella shot, which is a kennel cough shot, and it went to the kennel and still got kennel cough. Your vaccines are bad. No, they're not. Maybe your dog's immune system is bad, but our vaccines are never bad. Vaccines are not a total preventative. They're only there to help supplement the immune system. So when we talk about the FVRCP, I'm going to sit up here. On the FVRCP, I wrote it out like this because there are 3 things that this is helping your cat with. Okay, FVR is feline viral that's a big word. Feline viral rhinotracheitis. Rhino is in the nose, like you think about a rhinoceros with its nose and its horn and all of that. This virus, it's one thing. See, I wrote this. This is one thing that's covering your cat for. It's helping to increase its immunity to. And that is an upper respiratory infection in the head area. Okay? Then this C is called a calicivirus. It's another upper respiratory infection that causes all kinds of symptoms. Calicivirus comes in all forms. Sometimes it's called limping kitten syndrome. So if you have kittens and they're running around playing one day and they start to limp, and actually it's crazy, they'll lift up one of their front legs and they'll be running around and they'll be playing, but they won't use their front leg. You think that maybe they hurt themselves or something. The next day they go down. They are lethargic, they have a fever, and a lot of times if you don't have a thermometer and you don't know how to insert it in the rectum properly, you don't want to be doing that, you can feel their ears and they'll be super hot because they have a fever, and that's a lot of times right where you want to feel it is their ears. If you see that your kitten, because it's a kitten thing when they limp, if you see your kitten limping, you want to get them to the vet. It will sometimes resolve on its own, but they dip so fast, so far, that they become lethargic. The fever causes dehydration. Sometimes they can't get back up and over the dehydration, and that's what causes them to go down so far that you can't get them back. But this, when it's limping kitten syndrome, when those symptoms come up and it's calici, it's kind of an easy no-brainer for us. We put them on antibiotics and then they zoom right back up, and in 3 days they're back to playing again. Some forms of calicivirus are really strong. They're virulent, they take hold, and these cats are sick for a long time. It just depends on, just all kinds of different things to look for. They're usually lethargic, they're sneezing, It can go into their lungs. Either one of these can go into a secondary infection, which becomes bacterial, which is not viral. These are viruses. You can't treat a virus, just like our flu. You can't treat a virus because the medications aren't able to treat a virus. They can just help not go into a secondary infection, which is bacterial, which is treatable. Then we have calicivirus, and then here's the P. Now, if I can spell it, okay, that's the Panleukopenia. So in your annual vaccine, you're getting some immunity to the Panleuk. It's a virus, but it's a parvovirus. And so I'm going to read you some things here. I'm going to put that right here because I want everybody to understand how important, whether your cat goes outside or not, there are viruses that you can go to someone's house, you can be petting a cat in the park, and you can take that home with you. It will stay live on your person for up to 20 minutes. So you never want to take that chance of taking something home. You can go over to a friend's house and their cat is an indoor-outdoor cat and it's a carrier of this virus and bring it home. So you don't want to not vaccinate your cats if you don't want them to get that. And so I want to read some things about Panleuk. And it is known as a lot of things. So if your vet says your cat has any one of these, they're saying it has Panleuk. Feline infectious enteritis, feline parvoviral enteritis, feline ataxia, feline distemper, or cat plague. This is what we sometimes will tell you at Quick Fix when we're over there. We'll say it's this, and distemper, because people understand distemper. But it's really not distemper, it's really parvo. It's really a parvovirus. So it's caused by a parvovirus, a close relative of both type 2 canine parvovirus and mink enteritis, which is crazy. But you know those little minks that run around? Once contracted, it is highly contagious and can be fatal to the affected cat. The name Panleukopenia comes from the low white blood cell count leukocytes, where the Panleuk, exhibited by affected animals. Panleuk is primarily spread through contact with an infected animal's bodily fluids, feces, or other fomites, as well as by fleas. So let me explain that. Body fluids are spit, semen, anything like that, blood, feces, any fomite. A fomite is anything that comes out of the body. And fleas. So if none of those other things are get you to get your annual vaccine, just know this. A cat outside that's walking around your house in the summer and you have the windows open and it has fleas, and that flea, who to them a screen is nothing. That's like you walking through double doors. A flea can jump right through that screen and onto your cat and give your cat Panleuk at any time. Just be careful. And even though your cat is treated for fleas, the problem with that is your cat has to be bit by the flea in order for the flea to die. So the flea is still infecting the cat with this before it dies and has a chance to reproduce. We go, yay, the flea treatment's working, but those fleas are carrying more than just this. Like all parvoviruses, FPV is extremely resistant to inactivation and can survive for longer than 1 year in a suitable environment. So basically what that's saying is if you don't use the right product on and clean thoroughly, which it's bleach, and bleach, it will live in your environment for up to a year all on its own, just hanging out. So In our shelter, we are very serious about cleaning protocols, very serious, in both Quick Fix and Kitten Crazy, because we know and understand the virulent nature of these viruses. And virulent means the strength of them. They're like the Hulk. As far as viruses go, this is a Hulk. It just is strong, and there's not that many ways to kill it. So we know how to kill it, and we do a very good job here. The virus primarily attacks the lining of the gastrointestinal tract, causing internal ulceration and ultimately total sloughing of the internal epithelium, which means the inside of their intestines just starts to come off, and it thins the layer of the intestines. This results in profuse and usually bloody diarrhea, because the sloughing off is having all those veins and everything, now that's exposed and it's bleeding. And severe dehydration, malnutrition, anemia, and often death. It causes a decrease in the cat's white blood cells, thus compromising its immune system. What is the treatment? Well, let me just say that in a shelter environment, getting a Panleuk cat in can be earth-shattering because of the heroic measures that the team has to take in order to try to save the infected cat and try to prevent any other cat from being infected. And we just had this happen. So those of you who follow us on Facebook, who were trying to adopt from us this Christmas, or who are a part of our organization at any level, who are donors and that, who heard that we shut down at Christmas, this is why. Somebody brought in a cat, and it can happen any day, so we're not pointing fingers and saying, you should never have. No, we get sick cats in all the time. So we evaluate them and we figure things out. It just so happened that this cat came in the day of our volunteer Christmas party, and the next day was medical night, and I tell you all the time how we have a staff of people, and they come in and we do all of the things that we need to do to ensure their health. They detected it, and they tested, and it came up positive for Panleuk. Normally what would happen at this point, we have quarantine rooms and all, normally what would happen at this point is we would have put that cat in a complete quarantine situation. We would not have shut down. But we didn't know if anybody touched that cat. And I was not willing, in good conscience, to send any of our cats home to infect your cats at home if you were to come and adopt, or if you were to even come and just visit or whatever. It was just safest to shut down. And that's what we will always do, to keep your pets and you safe, if it comes down to you. But in this case, it was, if you adopted, could we be sure that your cat isn't, the cat you took home doesn't have it and die, and then infect your cats and potentially die, or cost you a whole lot of money. So what we did was we shut down. Fenny is the cat that was infected. She was showing severe signs. Her diarrhea was screaming. I mean, it will shoot out of them like water. It's terrible. And you know they don't feel good. She wasn't eating. She had severe symptoms already. And of course, her Panleuk test, her parvo, we can use a dog parvo snap test and know by taking a stool sample and putting it on this test, and in 10 minutes, it'll tell us that it's positive for parvo. And for some reason, the dog parvo tests work for this virus because it is so similar. So we knew that she had Panleuk, and we knew we had to shut down. What happens after that is nothing less than heroism here. People that volunteer here and the shelter manager over their holiday had to gown up, put booties on, hats, masks, gloves, and change that whole set between every single room or cage or separate situation. to ensure that they were not passing anything along to anybody. And for 2 weeks, they had to do that, not knowing if one little thing that they did wrong was going to cause the next episode or the next cat to get it. And also in the process, we all were taking turns gowning up to the etc. extent. And we also have to step in a bleach bath. So even if we put our booties on, we are not taking it out. It's stressful because we are always all aware that if we do something wrong, we could cause an epidemic. And so the gals that were here and some guys that were here, I want to thank you. They're probably already listening because they're here today, most of them. But I want to thank you for, number one, saving Fenny's life, and also doing what it takes to save everybody else's life and doing the right thing. So I just cannot say enough. Fenny is alive and well today. A week later, her symptoms were so bad when she got here, but a week later, we did such a good job, all of us, by giving her, force feeding her and getting the fluids in her that were needed to keep replenishing her system until her body could get over this virus. And of course, antibiotics, and she was under doctor's care, but we were doing all the work. And she made it. Most rescues will euthanize Panleuk on the spot because of the potential of the whole place. And I recall long ago, this is years ago, twice the APL downtown euthanizing their whole facility of cats, twice, hundreds of cats, because somebody came in with Panleuk. That was then. I've never heard, I know them now, and I know there's a new director and she won't do it. And there isn't any reason to do it if you do the right protocols, but I know rescues that will just euthanize them all because of the potential. And it's a shame because we have proven that you can, not only one, you can save them, but two, you can prevent an epidemic for sure. So our doctor is monitoring the timing of when she can come out and safely be around other cats. It's unfortunate because she's perfectly healthy. She looks great. She does not have parvo, but cats can carry things and give them to other cats that they no longer have. It's crazy. And so that's just that. Cats can be carriers of ringworm. They can carry the ringworm fungus on them and not show active ringworm. So that happens. All right, so we're going to move on. So parvo, not nice. That's a hiss. We don't like parvo, but we're over it. We're good.